Trump is pissed off, and he's now telling them they better buy from us.
So then China went elsewhere, and China couldn't get it done, and then China came to the fucking table and bowed to fucking Trump and said, all right, fine, deal.
Actually, no, did you ever
Europe
see?
Said no.
Actually, shake hands.
Europe said
no. He's laughing. Do you not see his face?
No.
Because the one thing China said was, they've been around for 2,000 years. They know how to do patience.
Europe said no.
You know what China said? They've been around for 2,000 years.
You know why Europe
said no? You think Trump's going to break China? Trump is only in the office for the next 3 years. You think they're going to break China? You got a dictator going against the United States. China is not going to break. They've been around for 2,000 years. They're going to be around. They've been around for 2,000 years. They'll be around longer than we will. So we need to learn how to play nice in the play yard.
Do you know what's happening to their economy?
You know what? We still need to play nice in the play yard.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I do.
What if the other people don't play nice with you? You still going to play nice?
When you don't play nice, then you don't do tariffs. You do trade agreements, right?
What trade
You create an incentive, but you don't have to. Just like sanctions exist.
Yeah,
I'm not against sanctions. I'm not against sanctions. I'm not against export compliance or trade compliance or regulatory compliance. What I'm not for is tariffs that harm our everyday citizens. That's it.
Well, tariffs are not necessarily harming us. We're forcing other people to lower their trade barriers. Because they've been erecting trade barriers left and right in all kinds of names. That's why we need to fight back.
Thank you.
I disagree that everybody has a trade barrier because just because somebody doesn't want to have modified GMO meat into their country, I think they have restrictions and standards. U.S. would like to export their beef. I'm giving you an example. No, I'm not rambling. I'm not rambling. No, I'm just being honest.
Okay,
some of the trade barriers that exist have to do with the quality of the meat or the quality of the product that's going to certain
countries. Jeep Wrangler has over 100% fucking tariff on when it comes in.
For cars?
China literally nails the shit out of our cars so people don't buy them. So
but don't we literally nail the shit out of Chinese cars so that we don't have BYD on this market? We tell Canada don't import BYD into their land. We're telling other countries don't do this.
Show me a $40,000 car in their country worth
okay. Well, but we tell other countries don't do this. Otherwise, we're going to raise your tariffs and we're going to cause you harm.
China did it to us first.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They raised the tariffs on a Jeep Wrangler was the one that I used to specifically looked up, and it was right around like $48,000 at the time I did the research, and they were paying over $100,000 if they wanted to buy one there because China wants them buying their stuff. So literally over twice the value. So yes, should we tariff? Yes. Show me a car.
Actually, no. Why don't we make Americans buy our stuff?
You just can't fucking stop.
Now, I'm just saying, why can't you just tell Americans to buy our stuff?
So
can't you just mandate Americans to buy our stuff?
How do you do that?
Is that capitalism?
You guys are big. Hey!
The left wants socialism. That's all.
No, I'm just saying. No, actually, it's the right that I'm not. It's not right or wrong. I'm just letting you know that certain administrations right now are buying into certain companies and telling them that they need to now operate in a certain principle.
Okay.
You think the TikTok deal? We're not a free market anymore. We're doing TikTok.
Bribery, whatever.
Oh, come on.
No, I don't know how you say it, so I'm just fucking saying it because I haven't heard you say it. But here's the deal.
No, I don't need you to know it.
I don't want to fucking know it. I don't give a fuck. You're fucking 2 cents to me. Fucking shit you out tomorrow. I don't care.
Now doing personal attacks. Personal attacks are a sign of insecurity.
There's no insecurity. It's your fucking attitude.
See, there you go. You gotta control yourself. Breathe in and exhale.
How come you can't shut the fuck up and listen?
Breathe in.
No wonder you're fucking single.
And I'm not single, actually.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
You wish I was. You're probably single. See, that's where you go. You're probably single and been dumped about 500 times.
Yeah, not quite. Been in 3 fucking relationships, and this one's the last.
Oh, that's the only one. Oh, I'm sorry. And how old are you? 58? 70?
Yeah, I'm 72. And with the same woman for 41 years. So now you can get on your knees and do what you should be doing.
No, what?
You probably do that. My man
is.
Yeah, your man did do it.
He's a wonderful man.
Yeah.
He's a God-fearing, wonderful man.
Yeah.
He wouldn't waste my time. He wouldn't waste his time.
I know he wouldn't waste his time.
No, not with you.
No.
No.
I hope. I'm not gay, so I mean, maybe he
But see, the problem is that you're deflecting. Isn't that Darvos?
Deflecting is you want to go there.
That's Darvos. That's Darvos. You deflect.
And you don't want to answer
you defect. You attack.
Said.
And then you victimize yourself. Okay. Darvos.
When the reality is this: China did it to us. We started doing it back. And then fucking liberals got mad because we did it back. This is how fucking mind-numbing it is to even listen to a liberal. So let me just say this, that fucking Bree decides to start charging $200 an hour for that fucking blowjob. But the girl next door is charging $100.
You're so misogynistic. Does your wife really love you, or is this your third or fourth marriage? I'm sorry.
Been married once, but you can keep fucking trying. So... I know.
Fucking trying with you.
What did you just say?
You're so misogynistic.
You just said a minute ago insecurity, and at least you admit you're insecure, and I love it.
Oh, I never said I'm insecure. You are.
You
baby, this is one woman that doesn't give a fuck about what you think.
So the best part about
this is one person that
you literally just said you go into attack.
No, you just said something about me.
This is the
no, when
problem.
You're saying something about me, I'm responding. See, you're not that smart.
No,
because if you say something about somebody, expect them to respond, right?
You don't say a fucking word. You don't let somebody finish. I was going to try to tell you that China fucking terrorist us first. They started terrorizing.
I heard that 3 times already.
Yep. You can't fucking do that. You just said
no, I already heard that, and I said you can do sanctions, you can do whatever, you can put people on entity lists, but what you can't do is I don't think the tariffs are something that is healthy. Go ahead. I'm sorry to continue to talk, James.
No, I was just curious. So China put tariffs on us first. So you don't think retaliation tariffs are a good thing?
I don't think retaliation tariffs are a good thing. They create an inefficiency, and even though there's the Taft-Hartley tariffs that happened in 1929, early 30s, that dipped the American economy. Whether there's a direct causal relationship remains to be debated, but that dipped us into the Great Recession, along with the stock market crash, and then the retaliatory tariffs during that time period. So you got to be careful in the balance of the economy. When you have a devaluing dollar, and you have tariffs hitting back and forth, and then you have a very volatile way that you don't know, you have declining employment and other risks that are out there. You don't want to tip, whatever the situation is, our economy into a recession or depression, right?
Yeah.
Another
question.
Yeah, China. Well, let me respond to the China question. Like I said, it is not efficient to hit tariffs because in the end, our citizens as a democracy pay. Now, I don't know what China does to its citizens. I don't think they even give, no, actually I do know. They don't give their citizens choices as elaborate as we do. So when our citizens go to the market and they go to Walmart or they go to Target or they go to any other consumer retail store that has had a bargain price, right? When you get tariffs, it hits them. So that $12,000 that William was willing to pay at one point, our average American citizen can't pay that. And that's what we have to be reflective on.
No, I understand. I understand where you're coming from that, but I got another question for you. So you understand that if China produces a lot of stuff that we need, manufactures a lot of stuff that we need, right? And if they ever went to attack Taiwan, we would be at war with China. How would that impact our manufactured needs at that point?
Name what we automatically have to get from China. We have
a lot of our medication.
But we cannot. I'm just saying, what?
A lot of our medication that we get from China.
We can get our medications also from Netherlands and Europe, right?
Yeah,
well,
but
that's the point. That Netherlands, Europe, they're also giving up their manufacturing to China.
But that's why I said to you, okay, but Hanson, that's where I said to you, you can't pick a fight with everybody, because when we do these worldwide tariffs, we're picking. See, the logic doesn't make sense. We're picking on 139 countries, but yet I'm just throwing that number out there. I think it's significantly less, but it's still high up there. We're picking on random countries, but see, all they have to do is pick on one United States.
Yeah.
So the odds of what was putting in the damage is greater on us than the other way around.
Not necessarily. Just because the number of countries, if there are a number of countries, the size of the economy is much less than the U.S. The U.S.
But it would depend.
Can afford.
Yeah, but it would.
So I'm saying that the evidence is using the premise is the number of countries. That's not the relevant quantity here. It's the size of the economy.
And the size of the economy. True, yes. But then that means the United States, being as large as we are, shouldn't have to pick on the small ones. But when we're the small ones, if the United States is not largely their export partner. But when you begin to raise tariffs in countries that the United States is not their number one partner, you're creating friction that doesn't exist. So when the United States went and said, I'm going to now do Vietnam and I'm now going to do Malaysia, a lot of the trading partners weren't necessarily the United States. They had large partnerships and trades with China. You are now causing a friction where, United States citizens, where we had essential goods coming from Vietnam or Malaysia or even Singapore, now have to consider, let me see if I can find another outlet for my product that now the United States has become very unfriendly towards me. The trade agreement that we negotiated about a year ago or 3 years ago, even when someone had brought up in our argument the USMC, which is form of NAFTA, right? We negotiated that. Trump actually negotiated that in his first term. Now he blew up those terms and those conditions in those trade agreements. So by putting tariffs, you're now not only causing harm to our word as a country, because we're inconsistent with our trade agreements, because that's what it is. It's an agreement. Now we're now going to levy tariffs against you. Shows that you're inconsistent and I can't trust you. So it's best to find reliable partners. And the one thing that the market doesn't like is uncertainty. So people begin to move they don't want to bank their money against the U.S. dollar. They start looking at gold reserves, and the petrodollar becomes weak.
So the premise is wrong because the previous premise is that if we're on the same playing field and people can make their choices, the thing is, we are the most open market by far.
Combat Zionism, the final stages of Zionism
in the world, and China is not the open market, and precisely where we have the trade friction with China is precisely
late stage Zionism.
On the you talk about the trade deals, and they renege on the biggest trade deal, WTO. And it's reneged on with China, with America, and with Europe, and everybody. And then also, Europeans are also reneging on their trade deals because they're erecting the trade barriers. And so we're just pointing out this deficiency, to say the least, if not renegation on the trade deals on their part. And we're just saying, well, here's the medicine. You brew it for yourself. Take a sip of your own medicine and see what it tastes like. And if you don't do that, then we're gonna renege just the same. And either you break the trade deal with us, or you mend your own behavior. And that's the purpose of this you can say friction or whatever. It's because they erected the barrier, and they broke the treaty.
Operation Combat Zionism. Late stage Zionism. Part of the New World Order, tradecraft.
I don't know.
NAFTA.
This is like game theoretic tactic.
Benjamin Netanyahu 2060-55 Cyborg Edition.
Free trade agreement.
Okay. I disagree. First of all, when you said that U.S. is the most open market, it depends on how we define open. If we look at open in terms of zero, one moment.
Low tariffs.
Then Singapore has 0 to no tariffs. It's extremely low in its regulatory barriers.
Singapore,
barriers. Then you have Switzerland.
European Union, right? And you were talking
No,
about
I'm just Union. Ireland. Ireland has a low tariff. Ireland has low tariffs.
Just had an abortion.
Right? They're part of the EU, not England, not the United Kingdom. I'm talking Ireland.
Yeah, you're as a whole, like Germany.
Yeah,
I'm considered a late
Ireland.
stage abortion in the Democrat
Ireland's in there
community.
because they didn't Brexit, right?
Late stage.
Ireland is a small country.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, openness can be defined, and United States
I'm not
oftentimes
Jewish.
is not ranked
I'm a
as
Zionist.
the largest in openness. But nevertheless, going back to the original argument on if they did it first, therefore we're doing it retaliation. When you have an agreement, they did not break the agreement. It wasn't until and I'm not saying who's right and wrong.
First thing is the agreements were unbalanced in the first place.
Okay, so now you're going to revise it and say it was unbalanced. Okay.
Not only higher tariffs, but also they had the non-tariff trade barriers, left and right, the obvious covert and overt trade barriers.
But we have sanctions, right? And we're driving all the Wassenaar and all these other countries to comply with U.S. So we have sanctions. So just because they have trade barriers, we can put sanctions up against them. Like we do with Iran. So we still use certain tools.
You want to hurt the people in foreign
It's not kosher.
countries.
I'm just saying.
It's not kosher.
Sanctions are brutal.
Shema Yisrael
But
Adonai
tariffs are
Eloheinu
not friendly
Adonai
either, and it can be brutal for those countries that rely largely on
Actually,
that.
tariff is more. I mean, first of all, we don't.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Other countries. I mean, covert and overt
Ribono Shel Olam.
policies, and this is probably the.
There are followers of the
only
Rebbe
and
who
open,
say
tools we
Ribono
have
Shel
in our
Olam is
forces
extremely
change
useful.
in,
Ribono Shel
whether
Olam.
it's foe or friends behavior.
They
We
say
have
it's
other
good
tools
for the
besides
blood
tariffs.
pressure.
It's basically economic statecraft, right?
You can sign up for 15 minutes. But you
Greater
don't
Israel!
define
Yeah, what do you mean by
sanctions and tariffs?
No, sanction. What I say is, I leverage. If I
We're
am
listening to
dealing with
a
harsh
San
country,
Francisco State
and I told
University
you this
law
already,
professor
I
and
said
Google
I
employee
would leverage sanctions.
talking nonstop
it's
for
financial
hours.
sanctions
Everybody's given
or
up
hard
over the
sanctions,
past couple
that
hours.
can
She's
be total
undefeated.
embargo. That's what we've done for years with Cuba.
She's got incredible resiliency and spirit.
That's what we did with Venezuela. That's what we do with North Korea. That's what we do. Tariffs are again attacks to our citizens. I'm going to be consistent. It's attacks to our
Your
consumers.
love for me burns deep. How deep? Prove it.
And EU.
You know what we've done with China? We've put a lot of the companies that we feel that are bad actors or entities that act in a certain way, we put them on an entity list in the United States.
Sure, but
Facts.
that's just
So an entity list tells us that we are not going to do business. It doesn't mean, or we limit your business, or we limit what you're able to export into our country. If we also have problems with a certain entity, we have countervailances tax or anti-dumping laws, so that if we feel that someone is undermining our ability to, or importing stuff that we feel is an unfair or imbalanced trade, we will hit them with countervailance or anti-dumping laws, so that they don't dump and put our businesses out of, our companies out of business. Oh, no, it's very
Boycott
different.
and divest
Anti-dumping
the
is also
Zionists.
very different.
Never!
Because it's also industry specific, and it
Zionist
stops people and
covalence
companies from dumping
taxation.
and putting U.S. companies out of business. And it's targeting tariffs.
Benjamin Netanyahu, 2065 Cyborg Edition.
So did we still
There's
get
a lot
some
of
steel
importers.
coming in when we did that? Or does it prevent all of the products from
We have-
lower back.
Actually, we have
Pain
anti-dumping
free.
laws for U.S.
Yeah,
steel,
and what I'm saying is that
Canadian steel
all
or
of
China
the
steel.
products from coming in?
Power of
Does it
Tefillin,
prevent
Rabbono
all of the
Shalom.
products from coming in?
Rabbono Shalom. Get your tickets for your local Purim Chabad festival soon, Rabbono
It's
Shalom.
not a tariff.
You're missing the
You
Again,
may have missed the early bird
See,
special, but it's never too late.
You see the
Rabbono
difference?
Shalom.
No, anti-dumping
nation
hits the
status,
companies.
which is the
Anti-dumping-
only incentive we have. You're not even smart enough to be making your own argument.
Oh no, I'm actually very smart to make
Besides
my.
smart-
I don't need your validation. You're the one without the degrees, and you're the one.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
the thing is
care.
anti-
I don't need to worry.
applies.
countervailance. I said
to
countervailance.
when one company or two company does the bad job.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is, what if the whole country has a policy of doing the same for all companies? What are you going to do? Of course, you can do, well, all your companies, yes, we can do the 301, the sanctions on every company. But how's that different from a tariff?
It is different because, again, it's specific to an industry and
yes,
it's specific.
But I'm just saying
and it's different from a tariff because the difference.
There are followers of the rebel who say Rabbono Shalom is extremely useful to say Rabbono
100,000
Shalom.
companies in this industry all doing the same thing because they're under the same policy of the government, and doing the same thing. It's a uniform same thing. Of course, you can apply the 301
Countervailance
to all companies. How's that different from this sanctioning the whole industry?
Because it is very different because, again, when you sanction a company, it impacts the company that is the bad actor. But when you do a tariff, it does not tariff the country. The country is upset about it, but in the end, when you have a price markup, let's say I do I charge $1,000 for an iPhone. What you're looking at is that it's the consumers that are importing that the importer that is now John. Let me finish, John Schmo. Cell phone has to now import a whole bunch of boxes. I am. I said that's the difference. I did say that's the difference. No, I'm not. Dude, and I said the difference is that the consumer pays. Are you a dumbass? The consumer pays versus the company. The company is not in most cases they are.
There are followers of the rebel who say Rabbono Shalom is extremely useful to say 1,000 times a day Rabbono Shalom.
The sale price can raise its price, so it's it can do both ways.
Rabbono Shalom, Rabbono Shalom. It's a Jewish mantra. You just repeat it over and over again. So when you hear people like this who can't stop talking, it's a mantra. So, you don't have to sit there and think all the time. You can just say Rabbono Shalom. Rabbono Shalom, Rabbono Shalom, Rabbono Shalom.
In the industry is doing the same thing. Are you going to pinpoint every company of this industry, or are you going to sanction the whole industry? What's the difference?
Well, in the 301 section, to be very clear, so I can make sure that everybody understands, that's an industry specific, right? So it authorizes the president to adjust the imports, right? So when you're talking about that, and that's basically reciprocal tariffs that apply to fentanyl or anything that is dangerous that comes into the country to prevent the importing of it. See, that's different than the blanket tariffs that were applied to a country, right?
Rabbono Shalom?
I'm not, and
Hello?
I never said.
Let's say if we.
It is different because there's the IEEPA tariffs.
Answer my question. Let me restate my question. So let's say we focus on one industry before we focus on the whole country, and on one industry. So the one option is apply a tariff, whatever you say, to the whole industry of this country, and the other one is using Section 301 to apply to every company of this industry. And what is the difference?
There's actually a big difference because I think you're misunderstanding the 301 section. When you're doing a specific country, because you're penalizing them, tariffs will not necessarily be the best solution. You might as well block them if you don't want to do business with them, or you're just your trade agreement with them, right? To limit what they're allowed to import into the country. So no. So when you're doing a tariff specific, the intent of a tariff is to either penalize that industry, which is the case of the Section 301 tariffs, which deals with the product like the fentanyl, which is encouraged. I believe the blanket tariffs, like I said, and I'm not changing or deviating, is a hazard to our our citizens. That is it. Now, if you're trying to protect an industry, I did answer the question. No, you guys don't like the answer. No, you don't like the answer because you're not smart enough to read the answer to understand the difference between a what and a blanket tariff. No, you don't know the difference between a
You don't understand his question.
What's the 301? What's the 301, William?
Laws we can apply, sanctioning individual companies.
You can, yes.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying is, when you try to sanction the whole industry, one option is to apply a blanket tariff
For national security reasons, yes. If it's a national security.
For whatever reason, let's say. But we're just trying to see the difference, right? So and then the other one is the point individual companies. So now we decided that this industry is applying the same uniform.
This is an Iranian flute. I think it's called the duduk or something. Duduk. I don't know. It's very hard to play.
One option is
it's basically like a vibration flute.
To the whole industry.
It's pretty dope.
Pinpoint companies and
Seek his nay. Seek his nay.
And when we have determined that every company in this industry is doing the same harm to the U.S., one option is a blanket penalty. The other option is applying individual penalty for every company in this industry. So what's the difference?
Well, what's the difference? This is where I wanted to make sure you're clear. I said the blanket tariffs. I'm going to go back because there is a difference. The blanket tariffs, which were the IEPAs, which is what Trump did on Tariff Liberation Day, right? That is not okay. But the difference between the sanctions that I would do in place would be for national security reasons. If it's an industry is causing a harm, which is similar to a Section 301. If it's actually Section 232, where there is a national security threat. So if fentanyl is coming across the border, or our lumber industry is in peril, or steel is in peril, then the tariffs are justifiable only in that term because you're trying, or you lose countervailance or anti-dumping laws to prevent that. But that is a choice for tariffs at that point, which is Section 322. That's the difference, right? The difference is national security reasons.
Very hard to play.
Or the authority, which is the 301 for unfair practices. That is very limiting and is not going to benefit because, again, that's where you target a specific country. That's the difference.
National security reasons for both
I wouldn't do a blanket. I wouldn't do a blanket.
I mean,
the difference is a blanket tariffs.
National security reasons for unfair practice and one blanket sanctions on all companies.
Okay, sanctions don't levy a financial penalty per se to the importer.
So
right?
sanctions meaning
The sanctions.
Doing no business.
Yeah, that's the best way to say it. Is that
So if that's the difference, then I think the tariff is better because tariff you have a dated gradual penalty. We don't have to raise it to 100%, either 0 or 100%. We can because you're
never had one lesson.
You have a panel.
Home run!
National security, and then we may still want to do business if you raise the price and all that. Then we can do that. So this is a much flexible tool than the sanction.
I don't think so because again, there's 3 different types of tariffs. 4 actually. You have the IEPA, which is similar to like the sanctions. That was what, and that's the tariffs. That was the blanket one that Trump was doing. That is not good. I don't see that.
Why is it not good?
Because again,
well, I'm just saying that because you said.
well, hold on.
Hold on. Let me pose the question clear because you didn't answer the question.
Okay.
So the sanction is either zero, no penalty whatsoever, and 100% meaning that no business deal whatsoever, and then the tariff can go from 0% to 2%, 1%, 65, 100%, 200% until no business is done. So we have a gradation all the way. So it's much more flexible than a binary.
I could agree with you that it could be more flexible. The
Hello?
problem is that the current implementation by which was taken was not flexible. You had a minimum, you did not have a minimum tariff at Tariff Liberation Day nor on the existing tariffs until recently, where all of the tariffs were administered at least above 25% and higher.
But that's a choice, right? But the sanction is even worse because that would be completely.
You can always take it off.
Yeah,
The sanction you can always remove.
Completely cutting off the trade.
No, you just cut off the company.
It will be infinite, either zero or infinite tariff. Right?
No,
So
you can sanction a company.
25 is I can decide where if he sees fit, it's 10% or 25% or 30%, 50%. That's a very flexible.
But then it becomes arbitrary and it creates distrust.
Well,
because when you begin to have a gradient and a variation of tariffs, and it may be on a different product or whatever it is, country of origin of XYZ country.
Show's over.
And you don't have an
What are you
agreement.
still doing here? Show's over.
Trade deals, individual.
No, what I'm saying is, that's why I'm arguing for trade deals.
Got my tefillin in for the day. Skipped it yesterday. Did it at midnight. Ribbon and shalom.
If you have a trade deal, you are
When's the last time you put on tefillin?
that is binding.
Today?
Enforced,
Ribbon and
right?
shalom.
But when you have a tariff, that's not necessarily a trade
Yes,
deal.
and the
Trump
tariff is
went
the
back.
leverage to get the trade
Yeah,
deal.
but Trump went back and changed his tariffs to France 3 or 4 times. Trump changed his tariffs to China 3 or 6 times. I think you're missing the point. Trump went back and changed his tariffs to China several
But you can be
times.
arbitrary in a trade deal. How can you be arbitrary in a trade deal but not a treaty? And how can you not see that the treaty
You
is
did
the
not understand. I said you can be
incentive?
arbitrary in a tariff. I didn't say a trade deal.
But you can decide. You can also be arbitrary in a sanction as
You
well.
said that you could be arbitrary in a trade deal earlier.
No, you're missing. No, I said in a trade deal, which is a tariff agreement. I said you have consistency. It is enforced. That is the problem. Is that Trump then introduced, and not just Trump, other people did it arbitrary. Like, I'm going to now raise a tariff. Under what condition? What is your justification? Now, are you pissed off with me because I didn't vote at the UN Security Council a certain way, or I'm now going to support X, Y, and Z, and I'm now going to support this. Now I'm going to raise your tariff 50%.
So is your opposition to tariffs because of the motive or the incentive?
No, the inconsistency of it being applying. I'm against tariffs because it's a tax.
The question first.
Yeah, I said I'm against tariffs again, and I don't have to spell it out to you, William, unless you want me to. Passer avec toi alors, parce que vous êtes très mauvais. Et quand tu dis les choses comme ça, vous avez vachement comme les malades et comme les bêtes. No, I told you. I told you over and over again. I told you over and over again. It's a tax to our consumers. And our people do not need to have arbitrary costs rolled on down to them. It's a tax to our consumers and our citizens. And they don't need to pay arbitrary. That is why I'm against tariffs. And until you get into your head, William, you just don't like my answer. William, you just don't like my answer. I still feel like a tax. It's a tax to our citizens. And that is it. I do not care what you think. It does not change the Supreme Court decision. It's still a problem. The tariffs are still a problem when it's not applied in a certain way. It's still a problem.
How about you?
William, until you can get to the news, a tariff is still a problem. A tariff is only good when you do it as a Section 301, a 232, or a 122. Okay. William, you're not very bright. Understand what a tariff is?
That's my projection alert bell. She just said you're not very bright, William. That's her projection. Hello?
Actually, no, I'm not.
This woman works at Google and is a law professor.
I'm sorry.
Hello?
What do you do for a living?
She can't even have a conversation. Hello?
What do you do for a living?
Ribono Shalom, they're our followers of the Rebbe. Who say Ribono Shalom is extremely useful, Ribono Shalom.
You could just be quiet long enough to let me finish the question.
Ooh.
Which is, are you against the tariffs because of the motivation that somebody uses to apply them? Or are you against the tariffs because they are incentive to get a trade deal?
We're going to the planet Dune. I'm a spice merchant.
If they were, then there would be trade deals in place.
Its surface is barren.
They're not. They were.
Its true strength hidden.
So I'm against tariffs because, again, you asked me the question.
Its foreboding desert conceals the power to fold space.
A taxation to our citizens or any of the.
To slow time. To send the mind where the body cannot go. It is the source of the ultimate power. It is the deadly battleground where a young leader will emerge to command an army of 6 million warriors against the tyrannical force that threatens to enslave the universe. It is the clash for the greatest prize of all. The planet called Dune. A world beyond your experience, beyond your imagination. The motion picture event you've been waiting for.
Instead of using it to punish countries for what the world considers to be bad behavior, because you're more comfortable calling it a sanction, isn't that kind of overblowing the word sanction?
No.
Shouldn't we reserve that for countries like
really.
Iran and Cuba? No, we should just call it a sanction, right? So let me ask you a follow-up question. So you said why you're against tariffs. So had the tariffs led to trade deals when you claim they didn't, but let's say they had led to trade deals, would that have been a proper incentive to use if it resulted in a trade deal?
No, I said no, because in the end, the tariffs rose its cost to the consumers.
Okay.
Wait, what? In the end, it raises the price on the consumers. Is that what you said?
Yes.
So basically, your reason for against it is because it raises a tax on consumer, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the reason.
And Hanson, real quick, I do agree with the fact that they can adjust the price upstream, right when they sell to right when they have the deal with the seller at the very beginning. But that is rarely done, and it's not done because it cuts into the margin oftentimes of what a tariff is not necessarily always planned. It can be impulsive, it can be whatever the situation is, and that is what causes the margins for companies to fall because they don't plan the budget that they usually would do in the long term.
But if they still survive, they'll do it. So there's no reason that they couldn't do it. And then also your previous reason for being against tariff is because of tax. But the thing is, sanctions is also a tax. So you should be against sanction as well. I don't know. Did you
No.
hear me?
Previously, she made the argument it's not taxing the same people, it's taxing the foreigners, not the American citizens. Was her
No, but
previous
the thing
argument?
is, that's the same thing, right? I mean, because
I know, I'm just speaking up. She got really silent, so I was telling you what her answer was before.
I know, but
We're just repeating pattern.
Yeah, I understand, but I want to point out the logical contradiction in that or argument. If she's using that, then I mean, sanction basically is infinite percent tariff, and so that will also definitely it will be even more cutting into the tax the consumer even more. Because so sanction is basically infinite percent tariff, and then tariff any tariff as a finite percent will be better than the infinite percent.
I don't agree, again, because the tariffs is paid, like I said. I do believe, like I said, you can have a sanction, and it can also affect or ban a company that you don't think is doing good business, or it can also impact and influence a country to have a positive behavior. The tariffs, though, in the end, when you roll out a tariff, and I will continue to uphold this, it ends up impacting adversely the consumer in the importing country.
So
That's
how does
Hanson or William, can I ask a question? Hanson or William can answer this. What affects the price of products? Let's just say America.
Free market!
Okay, and so for prices, if we limit something, if we put sanctions on something and limit the number of recyclables, let's just say it's eggs. We make let's just say we sanction the country that's got sending eggs to America, right? We sanction, and now we have a limited supply of eggs. What happens to the price of the eggs?
That's exactly my point. Because
So
sanction is
They go up.
the
Okay.
tariff, infinite percent tariff, and the other finite tariff would be less than infinite. So
but that's not necessarily the case, because when you sanction a company because of behavior
Why
that
do you
you
keep
feel
saying
it
sanction a
doesn't,
company? Why?
or a country. You can sanction a company and a country. You can.
We've sanctioned a company?
You can sanction a company. They're on an entity list. That's what they call sanction. You have a sanctions list of entities. You can look it up. So when you do that, there's still unlimited amount of other choices out there. So eggs, you don't always have to get eggs at one source. So what I'm saying is that I understand your argument, Ice, makes sense. However, because of the diversity of the market, it is not a blanket from, let's say, we're cheese that comes from France or whatever the selection of cheese. It's not everything, absolutely everything that is coming in that's been selected that comes into from France that we're now going to do an increase at 40%. Right? It's not. And the cheese is not it's not applied equally, or what I'm saying is that there's an issue there, and you have other choices, but it hurts those consumers that when you have a tariff at 40% for France on their cheese, they're now going to pay a 40% augmented price.
well, your same argument applies.
Eat American cheese.
The same argument applies.
Go ahead, William.
When the supply of cheese goes away, you can seek other sources of cheese. So the same argument applies. And then the sanction is basically the infinity percent. The consumer pays the price even higher than the 40% tariff.
I still disagree, but I apologize. It's now 1:30 my time. I've got to get to bed. I disagree. I disagree because
One last question. Have we ever sanctioned a company but not a country?
No, hold on.
Have we ever sanctioned a company but not a country?
You can sanction. We didn't sanction fully China, but we sanctioned Huawei.
Tell us a
right?
company we've
No,
sanctioned.
what I'm saying is we didn't sanction China, but we sanctioned Huawei.
Okay,
right?
So let's put it this way: whether it's industry A, right? Industry A or company A, it doesn't matter. So sanction is basically no trade whatsoever. This is equivalent to applying an infinity % tariff. And then we call tariff is we put 40% tariff. How does the 40% tariff is a higher tax on the consumer than the infinity % tariff on the consumer?
Repeat your question. Cheese is
I said,
number one producer of cheese in the world.
Cheese, okay, cheese company.
We're number one producer of cheese in the world, so we can produce.
Just confine this question, right? Cheese company, the French cheese company, one particular French cheese company, we can apply a sanction on this French cheese company. And then the other option is 40% tariff on this French cheese company. How does the
who cut the cheese
company is worse than applying sanction, which is infinity % tariff on this cheese company? How is it higher tax on
it's not?
I'm going to go back to our original argument. Very good question. Your original argument was that if they had bad actors, right, that acted adversely to the national security or other concerns of the country, of our country, then your goal is to either have punitive measures. So that means you punish them either with the sanctions, but doing a tariff, again, because you're directly punishing the company versus punishing our consumers that may have the augmented price.
But the thing is, the company is...
I gave you the response. You may not like it.
Sure,
that is my response. But I have to go. It's 11:30. It's 1:30 my time. Sorry, I've got to get to work in the morning. It's 1:30 my.
Why would anyone want to interact with her?
She's escaping. I mean, guys, don't. I'm trying to back her into a corner. Don't mess it up.
Yeah, you have way more patience than the rest of us.
Yeah, but the thing is,
your tone didn't even go up. Damn, dude, you were the best.
Yeah, William. Hold on. Let me finish. Because I want to. How you back someone into a corner is you set up a question that is very clear cut, and then it makes no sense. Stem all the exits and see how your opponent wiggle and squirm, but that takes a little bit of time. So please, because but she I think she's already beating the heat, so that's why she is good.
Yeah, I know. I do the same. Ice does the same. We had backed her into corners, multiple corners, all night long before you came in, right? So, but
yeah, because
she just wanted to show.
Yeah, because if you not setting up this cage and leave all the exit open, then your opponent can squeeze through and in and out and then out. There's no way. It's like what do you call it? Hitting a whack-a-mole. Yes, whack-a-mole. You need to playing you close all the exit and slowly, squeeze in.
Yeah, so that's what my point earlier. I mean, we were talking. She does what we can't manufacture, and I think as William was trying to explain how many trillions. And the reason, this is what I love, is when they say, show me proof, show me. You literally had leaders of countries standing there saying, we're going to do this. Now, it takes time. What they don't understand is you got to get permitting, licensing, you got to buy land, you got the infrastructure to put in. It takes time to get this done. They think this stuff happens overnight, right? Number one. Number two, they're also very aware that in America, and everybody, and I loved this earlier when the truth and everybody was trying to argue, I bet you money that it flips at the halfway point. Every president it does. It's only not done it like twice. So it's like, are we really hedging our bets on that? And all it takes is Trump to do one thing that really surprises people, opens people up, shocks people, something in the right moment. Maybe he exposes something, and then people are like, okay, I like him. The political...
Shutting down the cartels in Mexico, freeing Iran, and a GDP that's at 6,
right?
And a CPI that's at 2.
So that might work. William, I don't know if you were on before when I said that we had a discussion, and I said, listen, if they were complaining about when he'd said something about going after the cartels in Mexico. And I said, listen, this woman, if she's smart, she has to come out and say, you can't do that. But meanwhile, she gets on the phone and says, let's do this, but I have to publicly be against you or they'll kill me in 2 seconds.
Of course.
Yes. So she clearly did exactly what I said and said, help us. Give us the intelligence. That way it doesn't necessarily look like you're involved, which we shouldn't even expose that we were. We shouldn't have even said that we had intelligence to give it to them. We should have just let them have the glory. But, they can't do that. We got to open our mouths over here.
Yeah, that's Trump. Come on. You think Trump would do that?
Right, exactly. And it should have been silenced. But here's the deal. They make one mistake and kill an American. You remember what he said last time? They killed an American family in a van, if I remember right. And they gave the cartel like 48 hours to hand somebody over who did it. And they did. They handed over like 2 or 3 guys because they were like, we don't want these guys coming across the border. And they knew Trump would. And trust me, if they do harm somebody down there ain't going to be an ask. It will be Trump. And clearly, right now, I guarantee you, and before, drones are flying over. They're tracking people just like they knew where Maduro was, just like they knew where Bin Laden was. They monitor these guys. They know what clothes they're wearing. Like, they literally rebuilt the house that Maduro was in and training. This stuff is crazy, the intelligence that they got. And
for sure,
it's going to be quick. And so now, but the only thing is we also got to remember that side of the aisle, they literally were out in the street protesting no kings, no dictators. And then we took out a dictator and they said, release the dictator so he can go back and dictate the people who were celebrating that he was no longer dictator. And it was limited in Venezuela, but those people came out and said, why? Their families were here down in Miami. It was like a World Cup event, man. They were partying, celebrating. Literally. The Colombians that I know very closely want America to go in and get rid of the guy that's in there because the cartels are now the guerrillas are taking root again.
Well, they were celebrating too because the amount of Venezuelans that are in Colombia, Peru, even in Chile, all 3 of those countries were secretly like, yes, because they have a huge problem with Venezuelans migrating to their country and causing all kinds of issues that we would link to our illegal immigration.
Right. And the one thing I laughed at is somebody was on here was arguing about we gave Argentina $23 billion. And I was like, it wasn't just a gift. We're getting beef exchange. Well, why don't we have our own beef? Because beef in America, the cost has gone through the roof. I mean, we're paying for burger what we used to pay for steaks, right? So we can bring in Argentinian beef, and that's a way that they can pay us back for the $23 billion. Because if we didn't do it, China would.
Okay, but do you know why our beef is so high? There's 4 companies that basically do all of the meat packing. 2 of them are run by Brazil. And the 2 that do it control our beef industry. And it's not the price of the cow, it's the price of the slaughterhouse because the Brazilians are manipulating it.
And I can believe that, I mean, right now there's a massive, Smithfield's actually moving one of their plants, and it's a multi-billion-dollar deal. But, of course, they're moving it from a downtown point in that city. It's where I'm from, actually, where I moved here from. And it's, Denny Sanford gave like $50 million to buy the area and it would be a great area once they move that out of there. But now you've got people who are upset, but they didn't want to let that out of the state just because of the economic impact of that plant, because Smithfield, as you know, is freaking huge, but they're owned by a Shanghai group, if I remember right.
That's the third one is owned by China. Hanson, I got a question for you and for you guys. Did you guys hear a few weeks ago, Trump said, hey, if you are in the Chinese government or military and you want to come talk to the CIA, we're like open for business. Did you guys hear that little blip?
Yeah, that's advertisement specifically directed at
Right. Yeah. Okay, so do you think there was a link between that and a week later, the purge?
Well,
do you think maybe there was a coup afoot and he caught wind of it?
Yeah, I don't think that because of that. This is one thing link in the whole operation. I mean, this is. The thing is, it basically sows suspicion among the high officials, in China and all that. So I mean, I don't think that is the one that precipitated that. It must be just one of many big operations. So it does. I mean, it's a convergence or confluence of many events, and then of course Xi Jinping is a very suspicious person, and he basically purged everybody in the military commission, the high military commission. So except one guy who's doing like we call it political stuff. All the professional military men have been purged.
When the Iranian president went to Azerbaijan, and then suddenly when he came back, he got offed, which seemed highly suspicious to me. Like maybe we had met with him and had something going on. Like I talked to a friend of mine who's from Hong Kong, and we were theorizing that perhaps there was a coup afoot, and that he got wind of it. Or it's like you're saying, he just got extremely paranoid and had been wanting to do it for a while and felt like he had an excuse.
Yeah, that could be. There's a lot of rumor about the rumors rolling around about coup attempts and everything, and counter coups and everything. So yeah, I mean that nobody knows exactly what's happening, but definitely Xi Jinping's position is weakening, and he's taking out all the whole military high commission.
Yeah, I keep praying for a revolution. Tiananmen Square Part 2, 2.0.
Yeah, all the generals, not only the new commissioner, all the generals, we've got 4-star generals, 3-star, 2 stars, and he took out like the whole high commands of the rocket force 1 or 2 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that. Thanks for your opinion. I respect your opinion, and I've been asked a legal question about the ruling from the Supreme Court, but I don't think she's still.
Jenny from the block.
Yo, I ain't never heard her speak. It's like a ghost. What the fuck? Like a fucking phantom. That's crazy. Yo, J-Lo. Are you being held hostage? Why can't you speak freely?
Hello?
Huh?
I'm afraid my karma will go down for a terrible joke.
Nah, go ahead. Just say it.
No, I already did, and now I feel like bad about it. And it's not just because of...
About that.
This is the one where he's on a talk show and his daughter is sitting next to him and they ask, what do you have in common, Ivanka, with your dad? She said golf and something else. Then they asked Trump, what do you have in common? He goes, if I said sex, that'd be awkward.
Wait, what did you say?
That. I remember that.
Yeah.
What did you say?
He said, so they asked, what do you guys have in common with one? No, that was Howard Stern was different. Howard Stern was talking about her body and how she was a sexy piece of ass. This is when she was a kid. So they asked Ivanka, what do you have in common with your dad? And she said golf and something else. And they asked Trump, and Trump said, if I said sex, that'd be awkward.
Wait, before we confirm it,
I don't even know what that means.
Wait, couple.
Yeah, like she brought up one thing and then went to another.
That's what he said.
Confirm this is true. Before we confirm if he actually said this or not, do you guys think that's disgusting? Before we confirm if it's true.
Yeah, we don't know what the context is. I'm gonna go check it out.
Yeah,
What's the context?
I think
No, I'm gonna say no.
that's all there is to it.
Because
If there's a context, then
there
I'd
was
like
a
to
if.
hear it. But if that's it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because the problem was she kind of hit us with the bait and switch, right? So she provided, like, the scenario that we've already discussed.
Can you play that if someone's got it?
Just hold on.
it was an awkward rebuttal.
No, so, like, she provided, like, the whole dating thing, like the View interview, right?
Yeah.
So then when we start talking about that, she hit us with the bait and switch and then brought something else. Come on, bro. And then brought something else up that we weren't even talking about. So now we have to
giving you instances.
this is cringe.
Come on, lady.
This is
Come on, lady.
cringe.
She's the one. What do you mean cringe? She's the one who brought up the whole View interview in the first place.
No, I'm saying that. Wait. You're saying like. Okay,
I'm saying Ace brought up the interview.
Let me ask you something. How could that be contextualized in a way where it's not like as weird as it comes off?
Well, that's not all right. So
This
was a Wendy Williams show.
So you're talking about the switch?
You said you need context, right?
All right. So yes, maybe you're not hearing me. So what I'm saying is,
No, I'm not.
Ace.
Loud and clear.
All right. So Ace brought up the dating one for the View. We all start talking about that.
I think someone
And
else
then
brought that
she
up.
like,
What we're talking about.
Hold on. No, we're not.
No,
Because
someone
on the
brought up the View. I thought they meant this one,
Not
the
the
View.
View. We're talking about the interview she just
This
talked
was-
about.
Yeah, so sorry. This one was on the View. Sorry, this was on Wendy Williams. I thought it was a View.
All right. So
Wendy
she
Williams,
mentioned the
but here's
View.
what I'm
It's
saying.
always
She
never
mentioned
like
the.
this.
Come on, bro. Yeah. So she
Can
mentioned
we hear that tonality? Can we just hear it?
Yeah, she mentioned the View. She mentioned the dating. Now she's switching it to something about sex
Right.
and Wendy
Hold on.
Williams. Do we agree that that's what happened?
That's not.
Well, okay, what happened?
No. So like, here's what happened, right?
No.
Yeah, what happened,
Yeah, right.
brother? Let's see how good you can
Here's what
try.
happened. She brought up sex. I interjected on dating. Like, who would you date that you wouldn't have sex with, right? That's how we started talking about the interview where he mentioned dating. But she was consistently emphasizing the sex term that she was referring to. Now taking place is instead of addressing right. So like instead of addressing the fact that he said he has sex in common with his daughter, you want to quibble about which talk show he said it on.
No, just keep it on the time.
Hey, did you bring up the dating his daughter?
Hold on. Does it matter the way in which this occurred? Can we just look at what you said and then you can then give us thoughts?
Hold on.
Because you said there's context to the sex.
Hey, hold on. So
You
this
still
is
try to defend him with
Hold on,
that.
Ace.
And I'm outright saying no.
Ace, all I'm saying is we are having a recollection, like, session here. Somebody's
we don't-
tracking a
We're
building.
not having a recollection session. We're not.
Just hold on, bro. Somebody's tracking has been questioned, and I'm
No,
just
but we're talking
wondering
about how
if
egregious
you...
he is. I'm adding
Fuck,
examples
bro.
to it.
Hey, when I told you that we're doing something here, obviously you're not a part of that.
Everyone's
so
saying that they're not
asking
doing
you-
this.
Now he's gonna take the
Okay, but I'm participating too, so like we are.
No.
What the
He's
fuck
trying to
do you
find
think
out
we're running away
what happened.
from?
Okay, can somebody just read
You're
the...
talking about something that's irrelevant. Can we get
No.
What
But
the
Louis
fuck?
doing the experiment.
This nigga Luca thinks that he's tracking well. I'm pointing out that this nigga's not tracking well.
Oh my god. You're running away.
Why? For what?
Why can't I just kill this nigga first before I kill you, bro?
Because we're gonna come back. You're never gonna come back to the point. You're gonna jump to the next point. That's what you do. It's your style.
Bro, if I'm acknowledging that both points...
Can we please confirm if it was an
come on, bro.
Can we first confirm if it's or not at the context?
Yeah. Let's just go back to the context because this will be.
Do you want to play it?
They can't.
Can you play it? Or did you want...
Somebody
wait, hold on.
Who said what when?
Look, because that's important. We just asked
Wait,
that.
I put the article in the chat. I can
I thought you was tracking. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go ahead. Bro, can I give my point? Thank you.
You're good.
No. Okay, hold on. Nigga, what the fuck? Just chill, Luca. Just chill. Okay. No. All it was a sassy ass, awkward, white rebuttal janitor joke shit. So no, it's not fucking weird. Y'all act like y'all ain't never been around white people before.
They really happen.
They really the fuck happened. What world do y'all live in?
You're normalizing this behavior.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
What?
This is Kobe.
Y'all are trolling around.
Right now, Dawn
not
is
trolling.
saying
You know, a lot of people.
This is Kobe.
I'm really worried.
A lot of people live in ghettos, bro. What do you think?
guys, can I read it?
That's what I'm starting to think, bro.
Can I read it?
No, don't read it. Play it. We need to hear the tone. We need to hear inflections and shit.
Thank you. We need to hear the context.
Yes, we need to hear the tone because tone is going to give context.
What does an inflection do to that?
Everything.
I have no idea how to play
It makes an inference towards it being a joke
somebody
or a sassy and it attaches a mood to it. Stop. Weird people. I know it's weird. I'm not denying that it ain't weird.
Ace don't know shit, man. She ain't even American, bro.
All white people are weird.
From Pakistan, man.
To me.
I'm not from Pakistan, little bitch.
Oh, shit. Well, she ain't from Pakistan.
This interview was in 2013, 13 years ago.
Not there either. What the fuck?
She's 27 years old, right?
She's from Rochester. Anyway, look. All I'm saying is...
So this is 11 years later. She's 35 years old at the time. Is that accurate? She's not a little girl, right, Ace?
Listen, so what do you mean? This is somehow better?
Just hold on.
Why you
little girl.
He's made comments when she was a little girl. There's multiple comments.
You made it.
No, I'm saying we were talking about different things.
Hold on.
We were talking about different things.
Hey, you made a claim.
He's made comments about her when she was a little girl.
Fucking right. You make a claim, this is how it goes. Is she 35 at the motherfucking time or
I don't know
not?
how old she is right now. I don't fucking
Well, find out.
But she is his daughter, no?
No.
Come on, hold on.
Did she make the claim that this bolstered the claim that he's a pedophile? Did she make that claim?
No. She made a
What are we talking about?
Hold on. She made a claim about the specific interview. Shut the fuck up, bro. Why don't you allow Ace to speak, bro? Why don't you just shut the fuck up and let Ace speak? So when Ace brought up this specific interview, she mentioned Ivanka Trump is there and that
It's his
she
daughter.
was a kid.
No,
I don't recall calling
You're
her a kid.
fucking
So now you never brought up that she was a
No, I
kid.
said that she.
No, she
that was his
didn't. Why are you
daughter.
bringing
No, she didn't, bro. She didn't.
We talked about
She did not. You're a liar, bro.
Bro, just
She
shut
said she
up.
was
Get the
a
fuck out
little
the way,
girl.
You're just a liar, bro. You're
Sitting next to him, a little girl sitting next to him.
That's what the
She
fuck she
fucking
said,
did.
bro. That's what the fuck she said.
We talked about different. Hold on.
She wasn't a little girl in the fucking View interview either.
Wait, who said little girl?
Her.
You're a fucking liar, bro.
What the fuck, bro?
It's actually so
As soon as,
No, I'm a fucking
listen,
liar.
bro. As soon as this nigga Luca
You're
said,
fucking
I
protecting
remember
what
that.
and for why?
Hey, can you?
Who are you protecting? You're calling me a fucking liar, and who the fuck are you protecting?
So when she was,
Why are you calling people liars?
hey, can you hold on a quick?
That wasn't time.
No one's fucking lying.
Hey,
Ace
Don,
fucking
can you
said that.
hold on a quick?
We talked over
Hey,
each other.
can we finish this?
Hold on.
No, you can just hold on.
But he said something sexual about his daughter. Wasn't here.
Hold on.
Here you go. I'll give you that article. There you go.
So when you were providing this is when Lucas started to chime in. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. Fuck, nigga, can you hold on, bro?
Can we just?
Can you hold on, bro? Like, I'm pointing out the point in time when she mentioned that Ivanka Trump was sitting right by him and she was a little girl. This is when this nigga Luca was like, oh, shit, I do remember this. She's right.
Say little girl.
Fuck, nigga. She just acknowledged that she fucking did.
Okay, hold on for a second. Hold on. We talked about various instances. The one that with the little girl, that's when he was with Marla Maples and he talked about Tiffany.
Oh, so she did.
That's when she was 1 year old. That was when she was, I never mentioned it, but there is an instance if you want to bring up baby. That's not what I mentioned, bro. I can give you an instance if you really want to do this.
You gotta chill, bro. You gotta chill.
Bro, if she brought up the first interview.
It's clearly not the interviewer.
About it. It's so
Good night, my darling, good night.